Multiplying and dividing rational numbers, 2-4 and 2-5. First, we have to keep in mind that the positive, negative, multiplying and dividing rules also apply here. We're going to be multiplying decimals, multiplying fractions, dividing decimals, dividing fractions, and some will be positive and some will be negative. So remember the rules. If they're the same, when you're multiplying and dividing, the answer is positive. If they're the same when you're multiplying and dividing, the answer is positive. If they're different, the answer is negative. Different, the answer is negative. Keep those rules in mind. Okay, multiplying fractions. Remember, when you multiply fractions, it's top times top, bottom times bottom. Decide ahead of time. Is the answer going to be negative or positive? Well, this fraction is a negative times a positive, so the answer is negative. 2 times 4 is 8. 7 times 5 is 35. It won't reduce. If it would reduce, I would reduce it. That's the answer. Negative 8/35. Dividing fractions. Remember the rule? Flip the second one and multiply. So instead of 8/9 divided by 5/7, we're going to have 8/9 times 7/5. Flip the second one and multiply. Top times top, bottom times bottom. 8 times 7, 56. 9 times 5, 45. Make it proper. You get 1 and 11/45. Okay, video homework part 1. Get that done. Remember, if you have a whole number, put it over 1. If you have a mixed number, change it to improper before you multiply or divide. For example, in the first problem, we have -5 times -1/2. Already decide at the beginning, will the answer be negative or positive? Well, a negative times a negative is a positive, so the answer is positive. Then put 5 over 1 because it's a whole number. Then top times top, that's going to give me 5 over 2, which is 2 1/2. The second problem, decide in the beginning, is the answer going to be negative or positive? Well, a negative times a positive is negative. So the answer is going to be negative. I already know that. Now, to get the answer, first thing I have to do is I have to take the 1 1/3 and make it proper. So that's 4/3. 1 times 3 plus 1 is 4. And then I'm still dividing, so I have to flip it now. -3/5 times 3 over 4. I already decided the answer was going to be negative, so I don't have to worry about that. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 5 is 20. So that's negative 9/20. Here's the second part of video homework, 3 and 4. Okay, multiplying decimals. Remember, anytime you're multiplying decimals, you always have to count up the decimal places and put it back into the answer. So, you might have -5.4 times 3.2. Go ahead and decide, is the answer positive or negative? The answer would be negative. A negative times a positive. And then stack it up and actually multiply. Ignore the negative. So 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. Put your 0. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15, so that's 16. So you're going to come out with 8 271. And your final answer has to have 1, 2 decimal places. Start here and scoot over. So that's 17.28. We already decided it was negative. So negative 17.28. Okay, let's do another one. Negative 5.9 times 3.02. Decide in the beginning if the answer is negative, and it is. A negative times a positive is a negative. Now, you just multiply like normal. I would put the longer number on top. Since multiplication, it doesn't matter which one goes on top. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 0 is 0 plus 1. 9 times 3 is 27. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 0 is 5 plus 1 is 0. 5 times 0 is 0 plus 1 is 1. 3 times 5 is 15. Add them up. 8, 1, 8, 7, 1. 3 decimal places. So start here and scoot in 3. So 17.8 1, 8, and it's negative, we already decided. Okay, here's part 3 of video homework. You know what to do. Okay, dividing decimals. First of all, the first number goes in the box. Or if it's written as a fraction, the top number goes in the box. So, first thing to do is put 5.07 in the box, and the 0.3 goes out here. Now, it is perfectly fine to have decimals over here, but you cannot divide with a decimal over here. So back in the 5th or 6th grade, you learned something called over, up. And that is exactly what you did. You went move the decimal over, go up. So your new problem would be 3 into 50.7, and go ahead and put your decimal up there. Now you're ready to divide. Now we're ready to divide. So 3 goes once into 5. That leaves 2. Bring down the 0. 3 goes 3 times 6 is 18. Bring down the subtract, bring down the 7. 3 times 9 is 27. Okay, so the answer is 16.9. Now, was it negative or positive? It was positive because both of our numbers were positive. Okay, let's try this one. First, we need to look at the fact that one of them is negative. So a negative divided by a positive, the answer is going to be negative when we get it. Then, which one goes in the box? The first one. So I'm not even going to write the negative down. I'm just going to put 34.3 in the box because I've already decided my answer is negative. And I'm going to put 0.9 here. And then I can't have any decimals out here. I've got to move them. So I'm going to go over, up. So I'm dividing 343 by 9. Go ahead and put the decimal because you may have to add some zeros to make it come out even. You have to divide until it repeats or comes out even. So 9 goes into 34 3 times. That's 27. Subtract that and you get 7. Bring down your 3. 9 goes into 73. 8 times. 8 times 9 is 72. Bring your 1 down add a 0, bring it down. 9 goes into 10 one time. Okay, subtract, you're going to get 1, add a 0, bring it down. What are you going to start doing? 38.111, so that's a repeater. So put a repeat line over the 1. So your answer is negative, because we already said that, 38.1 repeating. You have to have the repeating sign. Here's the last part of video homework. Have a wonderful evening.